Hello, and welcome to the Voice of Oneness podcast. On this podcast, we share timeless wisdom from the master teachers of divine oneness. Each episode is infused with spiritual wisdom, delivering practical tools and techniques to help you integrate these teachings into your daily life as you open to the realization of your divine oneness. If you're at the beginning of your awakening and are feeling confused or frightened, we're here to guide you. If you're advanced in your spiritual journey and seeking deeper insight and support, we're here to assist you. Whether you're ready for a breakthrough, aiming to release fears, or seeking to eliminate blockages, I am your host, Amora Bonet, and together with the Voice of Oneness, we are here to help you reclaim your power and soar to new heights. Let's begin today's episode. Here in the United States, we are 3 months away from the most important presidential election of our history. We are at a time of great awakening within our individual as well as our collective consciousness. The choices we make determine the experiences we have. In the rapidly evolving landscape where information is abundant and opinions are diverse, and manipulations and deceit clamor for your attention, understanding the concepts of judgment and discernment have never been more critical. And that's why we've selected the topic for today to be judgment versus discernment. Through a spiritual lens, these two faculties, often used interchangeably, hold distinct meanings and implications that are significant influence in our lives and the world around us. Mankind is now well within the turning point. The expansion is taking place at accelerated rates so that all return to their knowledge of self as love. We hold not to your measures of time or achievement. We see not the lack of anything. We hold not to the false judgments or accuse any of being less than whole. We are the unity consciousness of which we speak. We are the love force of which we assist all in recognizing within themselves. We are the light in all worlds. We are one. And we begin tonight with the subject of judgment. Judgment of self and judgment of others, viewed through a spiritual lens that invites a deeper exploration into the nature of judgment itself, its roots and its effects on one's spiritual growth. This is a topic with far-reaching branches that can be somewhat overwhelming to understand without stepping into blame and guilt. We want to start at the point of separation from the Creator that resulted in the belief in a separate self. A false self was created at that point, and the story grew and continues to this day. Within the story, judgment of self and others plays a significant role in what one believes is necessary for keeping oneself safe and in the right situations to experience life. No one ever wants to be wrong, as it is viewed as dangerous. Once again, we speak of the conditioning of the human mind to believe in a power that exists outside of the self. The act of judgment has its roots in self-preservation. I must judge the danger and protect myself. This is an egoic response to protect oneself in order to stay alive. Now, if we liken that back through time, and there's a saber-toothed tiger chasing us, we're going to judge the situation as extremely dangerous and run. Run for your life. So that too is the ego protecting the self in the form of run. There's a danger here. But we've evolved to the point now where we are in our period of what we term as the Great Awakening. And now we get to look at judgment in a whole new light and decide if we want to continue within judgment or if we want to go to the higher faculty, which is known as discernment. So we're going to begin with the act of judgment, making a decision based on perceptions, what we perceive, opinions, our opinions, conditioning from society or cultural, past experiences, and a need to control the environment, to control the outcome, the potential outcome, in order to stay safe. All is held tightly together by the belief in a separation from God, the Creator, from our oneness of being. Judgment is often accompanied by a sense of finality. It's a verdict, condemnation that categorize people and situations in a predefined way of boxes per se, of good or bad, right or wrong. This is an egoic attempt to define and separate, to maintain superiority, control, or security. It is a condemning of yourself or another, thus limiting your growth and the expansion of your consciousness. Now we can look at judgment of self. There's judgment of self and judgment of others. Judgment of others, when we are self-reflecting, is rather easy to see. Oh, I believe so-and-so is not a nice person. That's a judgment. We're judging them as not a nice person. They're not the way we think they should be. They should be this or that, and we can tell you the ways in which they should be. But then if we step into judgment of self, now that's a little tricky. We're not always aware of how we are judging or when we are judging ourselves. It's our internal dialogue about ourselves that, although we're not aware of it, it holds us in a lower frequency and is very destructive to our spiritual growth, to our understanding of what we are in truth. It keeps us tethered or anchored in a lower frequency in the ego's grips. We're believing in the story of who we think we are without allowing ourselves to have a chance of exploring that which we truly are. If we stay within the story, wrapped in the story, we don't allow ourselves the space to explore, to begin to question our beliefs, to begin to question what's happening in our world from the perspective of, is this okay by me? What are my true feelings about this? not what I believe I need to do in order to be part of the group, because if I should dare to believe differently and let that belief be known, then I'll be cast out. And another thing, which when we are in fear, we do not want to be alone. We have a fear of being alone, of being rejected, of being cast out. We've had those experiences and we don't want them again. So we want to walk in step with a group. We want to align with a group. But here now, at this time of awakening, we're being called to align with our own internal dialogue, with the truth within ourselves, our own inner wisdom, our intuition, the presence of that which created us, that's within us, that's always speaking to us very subtly. When we are not paying attention to that truth, it's being pushed away or hidden from our view. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist, it's not there. It means we haven't learned how to access it in a way of which is supportive and allows for our growth. So as we examine judgment, we ask ourselves, are we ready to open up? Are we ready to open our mind and say, perhaps there's another way? Are we ready to open our hearts and say, let me feel what is right for me, not what is right for my family, not what is right for the party I belong to, not what is right for anyone else, but what is right for me. For I have the right and I have the voice that matters. My right, my voice, and I am the one that must choose. And that's important. We must realize that we are the one to choose. Not give our power away to anyone or anything. We hold the power. We choose. So in our world today, judgment has become pervasive, amplified by social media. We're bombarded on a daily basis. If we're looking at our social media, which most people are, it could be hourly, it could be every minute, depending on how closely you are scrolling. And the constant scrolling is streams of polarized narratives crafted to create a divide so great that it's easy to fall into a trap of quick judgments, fiercely condemning those who hold a different view or live different choices from us. So it takes hold and we respond without even thinking or feeling about it. We respond that this is the way that I am to behave. This is what I am to choose. For I've given my power away without knowing it, and this is what's taking place. This takes us away from our true nature as love. We are love and only love. When we awaken to it, and that's part of this great awakening, is to wake up to the fact that we are love, and we must choose it. We must claim it. We must step into it and claim it as this is what I am. I am a divine being of love and light, created by God to experience my life along with God as love, living a life of love. Living a life of love means making choices that are loving, that are supportive of myself and all others. So when we're taking away from our true nature as love, we are anchored then in duality and separation. Thus, we experience fear, anxiety, hatred, harmful attacks are the resulting experiencing. We attack ourselves and others with our judgment. It doesn't feel good. It never feels good. It keeps one in an anxious state, unable to calm down, unable to relax, feeling of lacking clarity and confused. Just tell me what to do and how to do it without having to think or be responsible for the outcome. And this is so vital at this time that we learn how to recognize when we are coming from the energy of judgment and decide if that's where we want to remain. And if we do, that's our choice. So be it. But if we want to shift to the higher faculty of discernment, we can learn how to do that as well. So we ask you these questions now to think about and contemplate. As you are experiencing your life now, are you in judgment? How are you judging yourself? What is your dialogue to yourself? Are you empowering yourself? Are you speaking to yourself in a loving manner? Are you feeling filled with hope? Are you experiencing abundance in your life? Do you see a worldview of which is a time of great change and awakening? Or are you feeling threatened? Are you feeling the lack of hope? Are you feeling lost and confused or alone? Are you feeling loved and supported unconditionally? You see, unconditional love, feeling supported, comes from your connection to your true nature, to the God within your being, to that which is love. When you are aligned in the field of love, your experience is one of connection, is one of feeling supported. When you are feeling the absence of that love and support, it is for you to stop and say, what am I doing? What am I aligning with? Am I allowing myself to be swept away in a wave of distortion, in a wave of confusion, in a wave of hatred, in a wave of seeking power? Or am I open to allow myself to experience the beauty of life and let others experience it in their own way? These are questions to ask yourself. It tells you right where you're sitting. It tells you right what's happening for you. And if you find yourself in judgment, there's no need to remain there. All that's necessary is you make a choice. You make a choice to learn the power of discernment. And you begin to exercise the power of discernment in your life. And that's when things begin to change. So let's examine the higher spiritual faculty of discernment. We begin with this statement: the power of discernment is held within you. The power of discernment is held within you. There's no need to seek it. No one can give it to you. You don't need to go in search of it. You hold it already. If you're not experiencing it, it's simply because you're not aware that you hold it. Once you become aware, and you could become aware in this moment, as we are saying to you now, you hold the power of discernment within you. So that's taking the reins in your own hands and saying, I'm steering the course for my life. I'm choosing at this pivotal time in the human experience on this great and beautiful planet, with all that's happening, I'm choosing to step into the higher spiritual faculty of discernment, to discern the course that's right for me, to discern what is right, not what I'm being told on the nightly news, not what I'm listening coworkers are telling me, but what I'm feeling. I could listen to the opinions of others, but at the end of the day, I've got to make a commitment to myself to sit alone by myself and to feel into my own heart and say, what is right for me? What do I feel? What resonates with me? What do I feel is the right choice moving forward? Do I wish to align myself with the ideology over here? Do I see this as that which I feel is going to create unity? Is this expand consciousness, or is this fear-based? Is this overwhelming me? Is this hold the promise within it to take away my freedom? This is the responsibility of each and every one of us, to do our due diligence, to really examine what is proposed, and to align ourselves with that which holds within it love. That which is aligned with our true nature. Each of us holds the power to do so. Where the act of judgment has a finality to it, a condemnation, a closing off from one's heart and inner wisdom, discernment is the opening to hear, to feel, to access the intuition and inner wisdom, to assess a situation or event. How do I feel about this? Let me close my eyes and see myself in this situation. As it unfolds, does it feel right? Am I comfortable with this? That's our responsibility. Discernment empowers always. It empowers us to make a decision in alignment with our highest good and the highest good of others. We're not making decisions based on someone's personality or based on a picture that's been scripted and painted by malevolent forces, which is what we're experiencing in our world at this time. We need to cast that aside. And we need to say, no, I hold the capability within me to discern the truth. And I will look at everything and I will discern the truth, that which resonates with love. And if it is my choice to move forward in love, then I move forward in love. If it's my choice to remain in fear, then that's where I choose to remain. And that's fine for your choosing. We each must choose. We choose our awakening. To awaken is to align with love. If we're choosing not to awaken, then we stay in the state of fear. We know when we're there because we don't feel good. There's no question where we are within our consciousness. We feel it in our body. We feel it in our energy level. Do we have the energy necessary to meet the demands of the day? Or are we depleted? Are we exhausted? Are we frightened? Are we anxious? We have to ask ourselves, if we are experiencing those things, do we choose to remain there? And if our choice is yes, blessed it is. And if our choice is no, then it's time now to step into the power of discernment. To begin to ask yourself how it is you feel, why it is you feel what you feel, what's behind that, to learn about your biases, your opinions, your judgments that you've held, judgments of self and others. Are they true? Is the story you're telling yourself about you true? When you make a statement, I can't possibly do that, whatever that may be, you have to ask yourself when you complete that statement, wait a minute, Is that true? Do I know that to be true? Or is this just something that I've been holding as a belief? And am I willing to choose differently to experience a different outcome? This is what we must ask ourselves. This is the point of living at this time, here in this great awakening. When we choose with discernment, we make decisions aligned with our highest good and the good of others. It's an act of love. It's an act of love. We're stepping into the field of love. We're doing a loving act. We're opening to compassion. We're opening to experience love. Guess what? We know it by how it feels. We feel good. We feel a sense of hope. We feel a sense of connection. We're not looking to get it from anybody outside of ourselves. We feel it within ourselves. There's the difference, folks. You're not looking for someone to save you. You're saving yourself. You're saving yourself. Does that not mean that in this coming election where we have to decide on a candidate, that we don't decide on any because we have to save ourselves? No, that's not what's being said. What's being said is go within to what resonates within love and then make your decision according to that. Which candidate stands on a platform of love? Not based on their personality, not based on the depiction that has been put into the minds of the people in order to act in a certain way, but based on their actions. What do their actions say? Are they standing on a platform of lies, deceit, corruption? Are they talking a good talk, but not walking the good walk? Are they for the people? Truly? How do you know? How do you know? You know by sitting quiet in your heart, opening up to the connection to the God that created you, connecting to your soul, feeling in your body. Your intuition is the truth within you. It'll never lead you astray. It's never going to give you an answer that's not in your highest good. It's always speaking to you. You just need to pay attention. And if it feels far removed from you, it simply means that it's time to learn how to cultivate it, how to open up, how to receive it, how to allow yourself to feel, how to take back your power, take back your mind, live in the freedom of which you were created. You were created free, free to be. That means that no one has the authority to tell you what it is you need to do or how it is you need to do it. You are to make that decision. Each and every one of us. We can look around and we can discern. We can observe and feel into what's taking place and then come to our own decision. What is right for us, knowing that we chose, that we were not chosen for, but we chose. That's the power. That's the beauty. That's the magnificence of the divine essence of which we are, each and every one of us. We're here to do this. Now's the time. This is an act of love, free from fear. Discernment allows for freedom to choose based on inner wisdom, not outer appearances. Outer appearances always lie. That's the pressure that we feel from the sources outside of ourselves, from groupthink and not individual assessment. This does not mean that you don't belong to groups. This does not mean that you don't socialize with others. This does not mean that you sit in your basement by yourself or a cave somewhere. Not at all. But it means at the end of the day, you sit alone and you make your own decision. You step in and you call upon the power of discernment, and you choose the way of which you are to walk. And you will experience a transformation in your life. You will come into that state of awareness, that peace exists within. Love is flowing in this state of consciousness. You will experience that which you're seeking, which is a sense of safety, a sense of belonging, a sense of knowing. And you'll have achieved it through your power of discernment, free from any pressure. Discernment helps you sift through the noise and opinions and agendas in the world and leads to the finding the truth that resonates with your soul. Your soul. They're to connect with your soul. How do you do that? You simply open up and say, I'm open to receive. I'm connecting now with intention to my soul. And I'm allowing myself to feel. I have this body to feel. I have these emotions to experience. And I'm going to blend that. And I'm going to do it through my discernment. This allows for differing viewpoints to exist without needing to condemn or criticize. We can have a friend on the other side of the aisle from us that doesn't agree with us at all, but likes us as a being, enjoys having dinner with us, enjoys a walk in the park, enjoys speaking about painting or some other interest that we hold in common. We can do that when we exercise our power of discernment, for we don't need to condemn. We don't need to criticize. We don't need to cast out. We don't need to turn away from. When we turn away from, when we criticize and condemn, we feel it. We feel it internally because we're going against the true nature of our being, which is love. We are one. We are one. We can't disconnect from one another. We can't cast each other out. We cannot possibly do that. Now, hear this. That does not mean that we condone someone's behavior when they are not in recognition of their true nature, when they are acting in ways that are despicable and that hold no reverence for life. That's their choice. And we understand that they have separated to such a degree from that which they are that they cannot see nor feel at the moment. But we can, and we get to see them, and we get to see their behavior. We don't condone it. We don't need to condemn it. We understand it as being so far from the light that they are in darkness and they are consumed by it. And we hold within ourselves the compassion to understand that that's where they are, based on their choices. This is what they're living out. This is their experience. And we allow it to be so. And we do so knowing that the choice exists for them, should they choose to begin to shift in the direction of the light. We allow that to be as it is for all. But we hold to our own convictions. We hold to the power of discernment, allowing for love to be the experience. I have to take a sip. of water here, excuse me. We hold to our own choosing. I was trying to make it through without coughing, but I guess not. I allow it to be. Okay, so we hold because we are responsible for our own energy. That's our choosing. Knowing that we all eventually return to the one in our eternal oneness. And so that is. And so it is. This allows for those differing viewpoints without needing to condemn or criticize. This allows for differing viewpoints without needing to condemn or criticize, thus fostering a sense of unity and understanding rather than division, confusion, and fear. Peace within results, and clarity is the guiding light to your actions. Living from a place of discernment must be cultivated through regular spiritual practices of meditation, prayer, mindfulness, and simply the choice to choose to live from love. This is the higher spiritual road. Therefore, it requires attention to how we are living. We are required to practice. And we find ourselves stepping into judgment when we have chosen the higher road. We will know immediately, I've misstepped. And then we get to course correct. We don't beat ourselves up. We don't think we're less than. We don't give up and say, this is too hard. We say, oops, forgive me. I course correct. And then we choose anew. It's that simple. It's that simple. We don't need to make it more complicated than it is. Choosing to live from love is the true nature of our being. We are love. And we know when we step out of love because it does not feel good. Self-reflection is necessary to understand where we are within our consciousness. Am I judging myself? Or am I judging others? Am I holding hope? Or am I experiencing the lack of? And if hope is what I choose, then I choose anew. I align with discernment. We learn about our emotions and our triggers and how they influence our actions. And we use that to our benefit, not as a detractor, but as an asset. For I am holding the ability to become aware of where my consciousness is at any moment. And I have the capability to shift, to change, to step into love simply by choosing. I open to love. I open to the field of love. I release whatever it is I'm holding that is serving as an obstacle in this moment. I let it go. I simply let it go. I don't need to have it validated. I don't need to look deep into it to see why it's here. I simply say, I choose it no longer. And I let it go. Another key component of discernment is compassion. as it allows you to hold space for others without judgment and draws you deeper within the self to access your inner wisdom. Living from a place of discernment requires commitment to truth. The truth of which we're speaking of is the truth of your being. You commit to the truth of that which you are. Means I allow myself to become aware of the story of which I tell myself, of that which I am. And I allow myself the free choice to align with love and to explore the true nature of my being as it unfolds organically when I step into the allowance and I commit to truth. By willing to seek the deeper truth in every situation. As we look out into the world and we seek the deeper truth in every situation, that does not mean that we're going to understand everything. We're going to get to what is behind, the meaning behind everything. It means we ask ourselves, what is the truth for me in this moment? That's quite different. You're not understanding the motives of another. You're understanding what motivates you. That takes some doing. And allowing is the key. This act requires the courage to step away from others when need be, from your perceptions, and instead commune with your soul. Learn to feel and embrace the guidance that is always and has always been present right where you are. Open to receive. Cultivate discernment. Explore your inner terrain. Embrace your intuition, your inner knowing. Learn more about who you are in truth. Judgment and discernment are two distinct ways of perceiving our world, each with its energy and implications. Remember, judgment is rooted in separation and ego. Discernment is aligned with unity, compassion, and spiritual wisdom. Choosing to live from a place of discernment aligns with your spiritual truth. It is an act of love. It is loving yourself and others as one. And thus, in this act, you will find peace, clarity that will assist you in transforming not only your life, but the world of which you live within. That is the beauty of discernment. So at this critical juncture that we find ourselves, with the decisions to be made, each of us feeling the weight of that, we are to assess and discern what is right for us. Be aware of bullying, in this case, from others who insist that you act a certain way. Simply say, that's interesting. And you discern within yourself the way of which you choose to proceed. And as we do that, and we step into the higher spiritual facilities that are available to us, discernment, accessing the connection within our own inner guidance, we live in a world that is free. Freedom is our experience. Love is the force of which we align with. Choose wisely. Thank you for joining us this evening. If you've liked this broadcast, please like, share, and subscribe. If you feel that you'd like further guidance, you may contact me, Amora, and the contact information will be listed in the show notes. I do offer personal sessions and coaching and also spiritual readings. If that interests you, look into the show notes and my website will be listed. Also, you can find me at Linktree, linktr.ee/Voice of Oneness. Thank you all. And I want to say, it's coming to me, say, fear not. All is exactly as it needs to be in each and every moment. And when we trust that, we can relax and we can allow ourselves to have the freedom to choose. Everything is working out as it needs to be. Not all of us are meant to awaken at this time, but those of us that choose to do so, the timing could not be better. Much love to you all. Thank you, Amora, and the Voice of Oneness. Good night.